I got into it because I started studying biopsychology, which is basically the study of the body and the mind and the link between the two. And as I dwelled further into these studies, I just began to be so fascinated about the brain because much of this, the focus was onto neuroscience. And I just began to realize that, wow, this amazing brain that we have. And then, of course, started to pop up the questions, well, where are the problems with the brain? And one thing led to another. And I came across the questions of, well, how do we help addicts as therapists? Such a difficult field when you actually don't know anything about addiction. So I just went further and further into that research on my own, really, because biopsychology doesn't go into addiction per se, but into the brain, mind and body link, and brain and body link. And the more I knew, the more I found, the more I wanted to know, because I realized, wow, this is just such a huge field and a complicated field, really, for therapists to work with. I remember back at my beginning, I had somebody with alcoholism and I didn't know what to do. And as I was in an internship at a bioscience lab in Pretoria, learning about biochemistry and genetics, I was afforded the opportunity to weekly for almost 2 years to attend the scientists' weekly lab meeting. And at the beginning, I didn't understand a single word. So every time I came out of the meeting, I had a list of words and procedures, biological procedures that I had to look up and study. But very quickly, I came around to understanding how to read scientific papers, which then opened, of course, the way of looking into scientific research on addiction, and realized that there's a heck of a lot of addiction research out there, led mainly by National Institute of Health in America, and they are forthcoming with their research. But that research is so complicated that if you don't know a little bit about scientific background, you just don't understand it. So science has lots of research and lots of findings, and when you look into it deeper, there's actually a lot of scientific books that have been published by these scientists, because it is such a big conundrum, addiction. And so having that background from the lab helping me to understand those papers then made me realize there is just this huge gap between what people hear and know. And if you look on the internet, you see websites of rehabs, etc., and blogs of people that have been struggling with addiction. But there is this big gap between scientific research and what we commonly know. And it's a field of so misunderstood. People think that it has all to do with willpower. And in the 1980s, Nancy Reagan, she said, just stop. Well, we can't, because when somebody is suffering from addiction, the brain has changed. And that's what we need to understand as therapists.